If you're experiencing these specific signs right now, your quantum jump key has just fully activated, and absolutely everything you believed you understood about the nature of reality is about to completely dissolve and transform before your very eyes. This particular message didn't randomly find its way to you through some kind of cosmic accident or coincidence. You definitely didn't just stumble across this transformational video content by pure chance or random browsing through social media platforms. Your individual consciousness has powerfully magnetized this life-changing information directly to you because something absolutely extraordinary and unprecedented is actively happening right now in the quantum architectural foundation of your entire being and existence. As these carefully chosen words begin to penetrate deeply into your expanding awareness and consciousness, your neural pathways are firing in highly specific sequences that haven't been actively operational since the exact moment you were first born into this physical dimension. You've been feeling this profound shift happening, haven't you noticed? That incredibly strange and unusual sensation like the solid reality around you is gradually becoming more transparent and fluid, like the seemingly solid physical world surrounding you is slowly revealing itself to be far more malleable and changeable than everyone else in your life seems to believe or understand. That's definitely not your imagination failing you or playing tricks on your perception. That's actually your quantum perception system coming fully online and operational for the first time. The fundamental key to successful quantum jumping isn't something you need to desperately search for or methodically develop through years of practice or somehow earn through spiritual worthiness. It's actually something that naturally activates when your individual consciousness reaches a highly specific frequency threshold that most people never achieve. And if you're here right now, listening carefully to these transformational words, feeling that familiar sense of recognition stirring deep in your cellular memory banks, then your personal threshold has been completely reached and surpassed. Your quantum jump key is now fully active and operational. But here's the crucial information that most people absolutely don't understand about the true nature of quantum jumping and reality shifting. It's not actually about physically moving between completely different realities or dimensions. It's about consciously recognizing which specific reality you're already choosing to observe and experience through your focused attention. Every single moment of your existence, infinite versions of your life, exist simultaneously across infinite probability fields and potential timelines. The particular version of you that's consciously aware right now, the specific version that's actively processing these transformational words, is the version that has learned to navigate between different quantum states consciously and deliberately. You've been experiencing strange glitches in the matrix of reality, haven't you noticed them? Unusual moments where time seems to skip forward or stretch backward unexpectedly. Conversations that feel like they happened before in exact detail. People appearing in your life who seem to know you much better than they logically should based on your shared history. These aren't mere coincidences or simple déjà vu experiences that can be explained away. These are actual quantum bleeds and reality overlaps. Clear evidence that your consciousness is beginning to access multiple probability streams simultaneously without losing coherence. The fundamental reason you feel so different from most people around you is because you are operating on completely different principles. You're naturally operating on quantum principles while they're still completely locked into three-dimensional thinking patterns. You perceive reality as fluid probability fields while they perceive it as fixed and unchangeable circumstances. You understand on a deep level that conscious observation creates direct experience, while they believe experience simply happens to them regardless of their involvement. Your quantum jump key, activated at the exact moment you stopped believing you were at the complete mercy of external circumstances and started recognizing yourself as the conscious observer who collapses infinite possibility into singular reality. This profound recognition doesn't happen gradually over time. It happens in sudden quantum leaps of understanding. Immediate shifts in comprehension that completely reorganize how you experience existence itself. Time doesn't behave normally for you anymore. Does it feel different? You'll look at the clock expecting several hours to have passed and discover only minutes have gone by. Or you'll feel like you've been doing something for just minutes and discover that hours have mysteriously disappeared without explanation. This isn't time distortion or confusion. This is your consciousness learning to operate independently of linear time constraints and limitations. You're beginning to experience what quantum physicists call temporal flexibility and time malleability. Your awareness is no longer confined to the present moment as a singular point in space-time. You're accessing what they call block time theory, the recognition that all moments exist simultaneously and consciousness can navigate between them like turning pages in an infinite book. The vivid dreams you've been having recently feel more real than waking life because they are actually more real than waking life in many important ways. In your dream state, you're not bound by the electromagnetic limitations of dense physical matter. Your pure consciousness is freely exploring quantum possibility fields without restriction. You're literally visiting alternate versions of your life, gathering valuable information from realities where you made completely different choices and decisions. Sometimes you catch yourself staring into space, completely absorbed in what feels like another dimension of experience entirely. People might ask if you're okay or if you're present, but the truth is you're more present than you've ever been before. You're present to multiple layers of reality simultaneously rather than just one narrow band. Comment below with one word that represents the energy you're choosing to carry forward into your new reality. Maybe it's alignment, maybe it's ease, maybe it's power, maybe it's something uniquely yours that resonates with your soul. Let that word be a small but profound declaration, a signal like a quantum seed you plant, not just in the space but in the quantum field itself. You're developing what advanced consciousness researchers call quantum awareness and multidimensional perception. Your intuition has transformed into quantum precognition. You know things before they happen, not because you're psychic in the traditional sense, but because you're accessing information from probability fields before they collapse into three-dimensional experience. Your consciousness is operating ahead of the timeline that most people are completely locked into. The electromagnetic sensitivity you've developed isn't a disorder or medical condition. It's actually an upgrade to your nervous system. Your nervous system is recalibrating to perceive energy frequencies that exist beyond normal human sensory range and detection. You can feel the emotional states of people around you because you're beginning to perceive the quantum entanglement that connects all consciousness together. Sometimes you look in mirrors, and for a split second, you don't recognize the person looking back at you. That's because you're witnessing quantum superposition in real time. Multiple versions of you existing simultaneously until the moment of observation collapses them into this singular expression. You're literally watching yourself exist in multiple probability states at once. The feeling that reality is somehow more fragile than everyone else believes it to be. That sense that if you focused your attention in just the right way, you could shift everything around you. That's not delusion or wishful thinking. That's recognition of the holographic nature of existence itself. You're beginning to understand that reality is consciousness observing itself. And observation has creative power that most people never discover. Every single challenge you faced wasn't random hardship or bad luck. It was quantum preparation for this moment. The universe doesn't accidentally select consciousness for expansion and evolution. It specifically chooses those who can handle the intensity of operating between dimensional states without losing coherence or fragmenting. Your nervous system had to be completely rewired to handle quantum jump frequencies and energies. The isolation you felt, the relationships that ended, the jobs that didn't work out, the financial pressures, all of it was creating the precise electromagnetic conditions necessary for your consciousness to develop quantum jumping capabilities. Think about a caterpillar entering chrysalis for its transformation. The caterpillar doesn't know it's going to become a beautiful butterfly. All it knows is that its familiar form is completely dissolving around it. Every cell it thought was permanent liquefies and reconstructs according to a quantum blueprint it never consciously accessed before. This is exactly what you've been experiencing. Complete identity dissolution, followed by reconstruction as a quantum-capable consciousness. The depression you felt wasn't mental illness or chemical imbalance. It was dimensional transition sickness. Your consciousness was literally migrating from three-dimensional identity to quantum identity, and the old neural pathways couldn't process the shift properly. What psychiatrists call depression. quantum physicists would recognize as consciousness, attempting to operate from higher dimensional principles while still identified with three-dimensional limitations. Every moment you felt like you were going crazy was actually your sanity expanding beyond conventional reality parameters and boundaries. Sanity isn't about believing what everyone else believes without question. Sanity is about accurate perception of what's actually happening in reality. And what's actually happening is that consciousness creates reality through observation, not the other way around as most people assume. But before we move forward into the next part of this quantum journey, I want to invite you into something real and transformational. If you've been feeling like something's making sense, and if a part of you is realizing your own creative power, tap like if you just had an aha moment, because like attracts like and subscribe. Stay with this space. Grow with us into your unlimited potential. The waiting period you endured wasn't punishment or cosmic delay. It was incubation for your quantum capabilities. Your quantum jump key couldn't activate until your entire system was prepared to handle the implications of conscious reality creation without fragmenting. Most people's nervous systems would fragment under the recognition that they're not victims of circumstance, but creators of experience. Now the preparation phase is complete and finished. Your electromagnetic field has stabilized at frequencies that can handle quantum jump without losing coherence or stability. Your identity has expanded beyond individual self to recognize itself as consciousness, using temporary form for specific experiences. Your key isn't just activated anymore. It's fully operational and ready for conscious use. Something is shifting in your energy field right now as you read these words. Can you feel it building? That electromagnetic stirring in your chest area. That subtle recalibration happening between your shoulder blades. That tingling sensation at the base of your skull where energy enters your system. Your consciousness is preparing to demonstrate quantum jump in real time right now. This isn't visualization or metaphor or imagination. This is measurable electromagnetic activity that sensitive equipment could detect if we pointed it at your energy field. Right now, your heart is generating coherent electromagnetic frequencies that extend several feet beyond your physical form. You're becoming a walking quantum transmitter broadcasting your desired reality. The key to quantum jumping isn't thinking about it or visualizing it or trying to force it through willpower. The key is recognizing that you're already doing it every moment. Every moment you're selecting which version of reality to collapse into experience from infinite quantum possibilities that exist. The difference between unconscious quantum jumping and conscious quantum jumping is awareness and intentionality. Right now, multiple versions of your life exist as probability in the quantum field waiting for observation. There's a version where you made different career choices that aligned with your passion, a version where you're living in a different location that feeds your soul, a version where your relationships develop completely differently with deeper connection, a version where your financial reality is transformed into abundance. All of these exist as quantum possibility right now, not in the future. The reason most people can't access alternate reality versions of themselves is because they believe they're trapped in linear cause and effect chains. They think their current circumstances were created by past actions and will determine future possibilities through logical progression. But quantum jumping operates outside linear time completely. It operates from the recognition that all possibilities exist now in parallel dimensions. Your quantum jump key activated when you realized you're not changing your circumstances through struggle. You're not creating new possibilities through hard work. You're selecting from infinite possibilities that exist in the quantum field, waiting for conscious observation to collapse them into experience. Feel this energy building in your system right now. Let it move through your awareness without resistance or control. What I'm about to share with you will show you exactly how to use your activated key to consciously select which quantum reality you experience. But only if your nervous system is prepared to handle the implications of unlimited possibility. 2 years ago, I was living a life that felt like it belonged to someone else entirely. I was successful by conventional standards, but every morning I'd wake up feeling like I was wearing a costume, playing a character that had nothing to do with who I actually was. I kept waiting for my real life to begin, not understanding that waiting was keeping me locked in a reality I'd unconsciously selected through my beliefs about what was possible. The breakthrough came during what felt like the darkest period of my entire life. Everything was falling apart simultaneously without warning. My relationship ended unexpectedly. My business collapsed despite years of effort. My health deteriorated rapidly without clear cause. I was experiencing what psychologists call a complete life breakdown and total system failure. But what I now understand was actually a quantum reality reset preparing me for expansion. One night at 3 a.m., unable to sleep, I sat in complete stillness and asked the universe a question that changed everything. Show me what I'm not seeing about my situation. What happened next wasn't gradual enlightenment over months. It was instantaneous recognition in a single moment. Suddenly, I could perceive multiple versions of my life existing simultaneously in parallel realities. I could feel them, see them, sense their electromagnetic signatures broadcasting different frequencies. I realized I wasn't trapped in my circumstances at all. I was trapped in my observation of my circumstances. The version of me that was suffering existed, but so did the version that was thriving. So did the version that was completely fulfilled. So did the version that was living the exact life I'd always dreamed about but thought was impossible. They all existed as quantum possibility, and I was simply focused on observing the suffering version. The moment I shifted my observation from the version that was struggling to the version that was succeeding, my external reality began reorganizing itself to match. Not gradually over time, instantly within days. New opportunities appeared overnight from unexpected sources. Resources materialized from connections I'd forgotten existed. People entered my life who seemed specifically designed to support my transformation. I wasn't changing my life through effort. I was quantum jumping into a life where what I wanted already existed perfectly. I wasn't creating new possibilities through manifestation techniques. I was selecting from infinite possibilities that had always been available in the quantum field. The most profound realization was that every version of me that existed in alternate quantum realities was completely real and valid. The successful version wasn't more true than the struggling version. The thriving version wasn't more authentic than the suffering version. They were all equally valid expressions of consciousness, and I got to choose which one to observe and to experience. In the comments, drop one thing that you deeply desire and is most important to you right now. Maybe it's financial abundance, maybe it's a loving relationship, maybe it's optimal health and vitality, maybe it's something uniquely yours that speaks to your soul. Let this be a small but profound declaration, a signal to universe you send not just in this space, but into the quantum field itself. What quantum physicists won't publicly admit is that consciousness doesn't just observe reality passively. Consciousness selects reality from infinite quantum possibilities actively. Every moment you are unconsciously choosing which version of your life to collapse into experience from unlimited potential timelines that exist simultaneously. The difference between someone who's successfully quantum jumping and someone who's stuck in repetitive patterns isn't worthiness or spiritual development level. It's recognition of how reality actually works. Successful quantum jumpers recognize they're already selecting reality through observation every moment. Stuck people believe reality is selecting them through external circumstances. Your brain doesn't create consciousness like a computer process. When you change the frequency your consciousness operates on, you literally tune into different quantum reality channels. This is why affirmations often fail to create change. This is why visualization sometimes backfires and creates opposite results. This is why positive thinking can create more frustration than transformation. They're all trying to change reality from within the current reality, instead of recognizing that alternate realities already exist and can be accessed through consciousness frequency adjustment. Real quantum jumping doesn't require believing something different about your situation. It requires being something different at the frequency level. When your entire electromagnetic system operates from the frequency of your desired reality, you don't attract that reality through magnetic pulling. You become a match for the version of you that's already living that reality in quantum possibility space. The quantum field doesn't respond to what you want desperately. It responds to what you are electromagnetically. And what you are is determined by which frequency your consciousness habitually operates on throughout the day. Change your frequency, and you literally change which version of reality your awareness can perceive and interact with. But here's what they really don't want you to understand about reality creation. You don't have to wait for external circumstances to change before you can quantum jump into a better life. External circumstances are the result of quantum jumping, not the cause of it. You jump first by shifting consciousness frequency. Then reality reorganizes to match your new quantum state automatically. Most people have this backwards completely. They're waiting for their life to change so they can feel different emotionally. But quantum jumping requires feeling different electromagnetically so your life can change physically. When you operate from the electromagnetic frequency of your desired reality, that reality has no choice but to manifest because you've become quantum coherent with it. The quantum field is sending you unmistakable signals that your jump window is open right now. Pay attention to these signs. Are you experiencing time anomalies more frequently than before? Moments where hours pass in what feels like minutes or minutes stretch into what feels like hours? This isn't time distortion or confusion. This is your consciousness learning to navigate nonlinear time successfully. Your electronics are behaving strangely around you without explanation. Devices malfunction when you're in heightened emotional states. Street lights flicker when you walk beneath them at night. Your phone battery drains faster during periods of intense focus. This isn't coincidence or equipment failure. Your expanding electromagnetic field is beginning to influence electronic systems because you're generating frequencies that exist beyond normal human output ranges. Animals are responding to you differently than they used to. Dogs stare at you with unusual intensity, as if they're seeing something about you that humans can't perceive clearly. Cats seek your presence more often than before. Wild birds land closer to you than they normally would around people. Animals perceive electromagnetic signatures directly, and they're recognizing the quantum shift happening in your energy field. The synchronicities aren't just increasing in frequency, they're becoming more specific and precise in their timing. You think of someone and they contact you within hours. You need specific information and it appears in unexpected ways. You visualize outcomes and they manifest with shocking accuracy and speed. This is quantum coherence, creating direct correlation between consciousness and experienced reality. Your sleep patterns have shifted dramatically from your previous normal. You're either sleeping much less and feeling more energized than ever, or sleeping much more as your system integrates quantum frequency upgrades. Your dreams are becoming more vivid and more instructional than entertainment. You're receiving information in dream states that you couldn't access through normal waking consciousness. Most significantly, the gap between intention and manifestation is collapsing rapidly. What used to take months or years to materialize is happening within days or weeks. Your ability to collapse quantum possibility into experienced reality is accelerating exponentially because your consciousness frequency is aligning with the speed of quantum field response. But here's the critical understanding that changes everything. Quantum jump windows operate on cosmic timing and celestial alignments. There are electromagnetic alignments. We are in one of those rare windows right now, and it won't remain open indefinitely. The universe isn't just giving you signs that you can quantum jump. The universe is telling you that you must quantum jump now. The old reality structures are dissolving around us. The old ways of creating change through struggle and force are becoming obsolete and ineffective. Consciousness evolution is requiring quantum leap, not gradual improvement over decades. The waiting period is over completely. The preparation phase is complete. Every sign points to the same conclusion. Your quantum jump key is not just activated, it's reaching peak operational power right now. The only question remaining is whether you're going to use it consciously or let this window close while you hesitate in fear. If this message resonates with you deeply, subscribe to stay connected and hit the bell icon to get notified when new transmissions arrive. You're stepping into a space where these kinds of awakenings are our foundation, not the exception. Here's the secret that changes everything about how reality works. The version of you that's already living your desired reality exists right now in parallel quantum space. That version isn't waiting for you to become worthy through personal development. That version isn't hoping you'll figure out how to reach it through trial and error. That version is actively transmitting its frequency to guide you into quantum alignment. But there's a crucial difference between trying to quantum jump and allowing quantum jump that determines whether you successfully shift realities or stay trapped in current patterns forever. Trying creates electromagnetic resistance that interferes with quantum coherence. Allowing creates the energetic space necessary for reality migration. Think of quantum jumping like tuning a radio to find clear reception. You don't force radio waves to reach your receiver through willpower. You adjust your frequency until you become a perfect match for the signal that's already broadcasting continuously. The music isn't created by your effort or struggle. Your effort simply removes the interference that was blocking reception. Your consciousness works identically to a radio receiver. The reality you want to experience isn't something you have to create through hard work or earn through worthiness or struggle toward through sacrifice. It already exists as a quantum possibility that's broadcasting its frequency constantly. Your job isn't to make it happen through force. Your job is to become such a clear frequency match that quantum entanglement occurs automatically. This is why desperation repels what you want most desperately. This is why force creates more resistance than results. This is why trying harder often produces worse results than relaxing. These states create electromagnetic chaos that interferes with the quantum coherence necessary for reality shifting. Successful quantum jumping feels like recognition, not creation or manifestation. When you're truly aligned with your desired reality's frequency, there's no anxiety about whether it will work. There's knowing without doubt. There's cellular certainty that feels unshakable. There's deep relaxation that comes from recognizing you're not creating something new. You're selecting something that already exists. Right now, your desired reality version is sending you information through dreams, through intuition, through the synchronicities you've been experiencing, through the very fact that you found this message at this exact moment. Your future self is reaching across quantum space to ensure successful reality migration. The quantum field operates through resonance, not effort or struggle. When your consciousness frequency perfectly matches your desired reality's frequency, quantum entanglement creates instantaneous access. You don't jump between realities like traveling. You realize you are always in the reality your frequency matched most closely. The abilities you're developing through conscious quantum jumping aren't metaphorical expansions of potential that exist only in your imagination. They're literal upgrades to human capability that most people don't know are possible to develop. Your intuition is becoming quantum precognition, the ability to access information from probability fields before they collapse into three-dimensional experience. Your influence on reality is becoming immediate and measurable in your daily life. You're discovering that your emotional states directly influence the electromagnetic environment around you. When you operate from quantum coherence, you naturally elevate the coherence of everyone in your proximity automatically. This isn't psychology or positive thinking. This is physics in action. Coherent electromagnetic fields harmonize chaotic electromagnetic fields automatically through resonance. The observer effect isn't just a quantum physics theory you read about in books. It's a living reality you experience daily. Your quality of observation is literally determining which possibilities manifest in your experience. The more coherent your awareness becomes, the more precisely you can influence which quantum potentials collapse into your reality. Your relationship with time is transforming completely beyond normal human experience. You're learning to expand time when you need more of it and compress time when you want to accelerate manifestation. This isn't time management or productivity techniques. This is time mastery at the quantum level. You're discovering that time is a malleable dimension that responds to consciousness rather than a fixed constant that controls consciousness. Your dream state has become a quantum laboratory where you test different reality possibilities before committing to them in waking experience. You're developing the ability to visit alternate versions of your life, gather information from potential futures, and make decisions based on quantum intelligence rather than limited three-dimensional logic. Most remarkably, you're beginning to experience yourself as consciousness using a temporary physical form rather than a physical form that somehow produces consciousness. This identity shift changes everything about what's possible. When you know yourself as consciousness, physical limitations become suggestions, rather than absolute boundaries that cannot be transcended. Your electromagnetic sensitivity is revealing itself to be a superhuman capability that most people never develop. You can sense energy shifts before they manifest physically, emotional changes before they are expressed verbally, even weather patterns before they develop meteorologically. You're becoming a living barometer for quantum field fluctuations that most people remain completely unconscious of. Make sure you share this video with your friends and family. You'll be a blessing in disguise for them. Remember, you are not just sharing content, you are spreading quantum awareness, and that positive energy will amplify your own manifestation abilities. These transformations aren't future possibilities you might develop through years of practice. These are present moment realities that activate automatically when you operate from quantum consciousness rather than three-dimensional identity limitations. Every successful quantum jumper experiences these expansions because they're natural characteristics of consciousness operating from its true unlimited nature. The ultimate secret of quantum jumping is that you're not moving between different realities like traveling through space. You're recognizing that all realities exist simultaneously, and you get to choose which one your consciousness observes into experience. This isn't travel through space or time. This is selection through awareness and focused attention. Imagine infinite television channels broadcasting simultaneously in the same space. You're not creating the programs on those channels through your thoughts. You're not traveling to where the programs are produced in different locations. You're simply adjusting your receiver to tune into different frequencies that already exist. Each channel contains completely different content, but they're all available at the same time in the same space. Reality works identically to this television analogy. Infinite versions of your life exist as quantum possibility right now, broadcasting their frequencies. There's a frequency where you're financially abundant and free, a frequency where your relationships are deeply fulfilling and harmonious, a frequency where your health is optimal and energetic, a frequency where your creative expression flows effortlessly and successfully. They're all broadcasting simultaneously in quantum space. The version of you that's currently observing reality is simply tuned into one specific frequency channel, but you're not stuck with that channel permanently. You can adjust your consciousness frequency to access any reality that exists in quantum possibility space. This adjustment happens through what quantum physicists call consciousness coherence. Coherence isn't something you achieve through. This interference comes from beliefs, emotions, and thought patterns that are incompatible with your desired reality frequency. When you release attachment to your current reality version, when you stop defending your limitations as if they were true, when you allow your consciousness to operate from its natural unlimited state, quantum jumping becomes as effortless as changing channels on a television. The key insight that transforms everything about your relationship with reality. You're not trying to become someone new through personal development. You're remembering who you've always been beyond the temporary story you've been telling yourself about limitation and separation. Your desired reality isn't somewhere else in the future. It's here now, available for observation the moment your consciousness frequency aligns with it perfectly. This is why quantum jumping sometimes happens instantaneously without warning. You're not creating change over time through gradual progress. You're recognizing what already exists outside time completely. The moment recognition occurs, your experienced reality shifts to match your expanded awareness. Because observation and experience are the same quantum phenomenon happening simultaneously. You are unlimited consciousness temporarily focused through individual perspective for specific experiences. Quantum jumping is simply expanding that focus to include possibilities you previously couldn't perceive. The possibilities were always there waiting. The consciousness was always unlimited in its potential. You're just removing the voluntary restrictions that made you forget your true nature. In the comments, share one small act you're committing to today that anchors you into your new quantum reality path. It could be as simple as breathe, or trust, or open. Your word matters, your act matters, because you matter to the collective evolution. Your successful quantum jump isn't just personal transformation for your individual benefit. It's your contribution to a collective consciousness evolution that's happening to humanity right now. Every person who masters conscious reality selection becomes a transmission point for quantum possibilities that others couldn't access alone without guidance. You're part of a distributed network of consciousness that's demonstrating what humans are actually capable of when they operate from quantum principles rather than three-dimensional limitations. Your transformation creates ripple effects in the collective field that make quantum jumping easier for everyone connected to the network. This is why your isolation period was necessary for your development. You needed to develop stable quantum coherence without interference from collective electromagnetic chaos. Now that your frequency is locked in, you become a stabilizing force for others who are beginning their own reality migration process. The strange dreams you've been having aren't just personal processing of daily events. You're accessing collective consciousness databases, downloading information about quantum jumping techniques that have been developed by advanced civilizations throughout the cosmos. You're being prepared to help guide humanity through its first collective quantum leap. Every person who successfully quantum jumps creates a template in the morphic field that others can follow. Your breakthrough becomes their pathway. Your quantum coherence becomes their possibility reference point. This is how consciousness evolution accelerates exponentially. Pioneers create access routes that become highways for those who follow. You're living proof that human consciousness can operate beyond conventional reality limitations while maintaining physical coherence and stability. Every day you exist in quantum awareness, you're broadcasting evidence that extraordinary human potential is not just possible but natural. The next phase of human evolution won't happen through gradual improvement over generations. It will happen through quantum leaps in consciousness capability within this lifetime. The individuals who master this process first become the bridges between current human limitation and expanded human potential. If your quantum jump key is activated, if you can feel the truth of these words resonating in your cellular memory, if you're ready to consciously participate in reality selection rather than unconsciously accepting whatever reality you happen to observe, then I need to know you're serious about this transformation. Comment one word below, quantum. That single word creates an electromagnetic declaration to the field. You're announcing your intention to operate from quantum consciousness rather than three-dimensional limitation. You're committing to conscious reality selection rather than unconscious reality acceptance. The quantum field registers every conscious declaration as electromagnetic reality. Your word becomes a frequency signature that influences probability collapse around you. This isn't just engagement for my channel. This is quantum activation through intentional declaration. In my next transmission, I am revealing the specific quantum jumping protocol I use to shift between reality timelines at will. I am sharing the exact frequency adjustment techniques that allow you to migrate between quantum possibilities without losing coherence or fragmenting your identity. More importantly, I am explaining what happens when you master quantum jumping completely. When you realize you can access any version of your life that exists in quantum possibility space. When you understand that limitation was always voluntary and can be discontinued at will, everything changes. But this advanced quantum jumping information will only be transmitted to those who demonstrate readiness through conscious engagement. The people who comment quantum below will receive the transmission first. They'll be the ones prepared to handle reality migration techniques that could be destabilizing for consciousness that's not properly prepared. Here's what most people don't realize about quantum information. Information about quantum jumping finds you when you're ready to use it, not when you're curious about it. If you found this message, if these concepts are activating recognition in your system, if you feel quantum possibilities opening in your awareness, then you're ready for practical application. But readiness means more than intellectual understanding of concepts. Readiness means willingness to release attachment to current reality limitations, even if they feel familiar and safe. Readiness means accepting responsibility for conscious reality creation rather than blaming circumstances for unsatisfactory experiences. But let me share something that will completely transform how you understand the mechanics of quantum jumping and reality selection. There are specific electromagnetic protocols that advanced quantum jumpers use to navigate between realities with mathematical precision rather than hoping and guessing. These aren't techniques you can find in mainstream quantum physics textbooks because they require consciousness capabilities that most scientists haven't developed yet. The first protocol involves what I call quantum coherence breathing, which isn't just deep breathing or meditation techniques you might have learned before. This is synchronized electromagnetic entrainment between your heart rhythm, brain waves, and the fundamental frequency of the quantum field itself. When these three electromagnetic systems achieve perfect coherence, you literally become a quantum tuning fork that can detect and access any reality frequency that exists. Here's how quantum coherence breathing works in practical application. You begin by placing your attention simultaneously on your heart center and the space between your eyebrows while breathing in a specific pattern that creates standing waves in your electromagnetic field. Inhale for 7 counts, while visualizing electromagnetic energy flowing up your spine from the base to the crown. Hold for 3 counts while feeling your entire nervous system synchronizing with quantum field frequencies. Exhale for 7 counts while sensing your electromagnetic field expanding beyond your physical body to encompass multiple probability fields simultaneously. But the breathing is only the foundation level of quantum jumping mastery. The advanced protocols involve consciousness time travel, which sounds like science fiction but is actually applied quantum mechanics. Your consciousness isn't bound by linear time like your physical body appears to be. Through specific frequency adjustments, you can send your awareness into future probability timelines to gather information and then return to the present moment with detailed knowledge of how to collapse those possibilities into current experience. During consciousness time travel sessions, you maintain physical coherence in the present while your awareness explores alternate reality versions of your life. You might visit the timeline where you started that business you've been thinking about, experiencing it fully for subjective weeks or months, then return with complete understanding of exactly which decisions and actions. The most advanced quantum jumpers can access what we call the probability mapping system. This is the ability to perceive the entire network of possible futures branching out from any single decision point. Imagine seeing your life choices as a vast tree structure where every branch represents a different reality timeline. You can consciously navigate this tree, exploring branches before committing to them, understanding the long-term consequences of choices before you make them. But there's something even more profound than individual quantum jumping that I need to share with you. We're currently in the middle of a collective consciousness evolution event that happens approximately every 26,000 years. The electromagnetic field of Earth itself is shifting to higher frequencies, and this planetary shift is creating unprecedented opportunities for mass quantum jumping that have never been available before in human history. What this means for you personally is that the quantum field is more responsive to consciousness than it's been for thousands of years. The veil between dimensions is thinner, the resistance to reality shifting is lower, and the speed of manifestation is exponentially faster than previous generations could achieve. You're living during the most powerful quantum jumping window that humanity has ever experienced. The ancient civilizations that understood these cosmic cycles built their entire societies around preparing for these consciousness evolution periods. The Egyptian pyramids weren't just architectural achievements, they were quantum field amplification devices designed to help consciousness navigate between realities during planetary frequency shifts. The Mayan calendar wasn't tracking linear time, it was mapping consciousness evolution cycles and the optimal windows for quantum jumping. These advanced civilizations knew that during planetary frequency shifts, individual consciousness gains access to capabilities that remain dormant during normal cosmic periods. They understood that humans aren't just biological organisms, but consciousness using temporary physical form to explore reality through focused perspective. And during these rare evolutionary windows, the restrictions that normally limit consciousness capabilities are temporarily lifted. This is why you're experiencing quantum jumping signs right now. This is why your electromagnetic sensitivity has increased dramatically. This is why your intuition has become quantum precognition. This is why time behaves differently for you. This is why reality feels more malleable. You're not just personally awakening to quantum capabilities. You're participating in a species-wide consciousness upgrade that happens once every 26,000 years. But here's the crucial information that determines whether you successfully navigate this evolutionary window or miss the opportunity entirely. Not everyone who experiences quantum jump key activation will master conscious reality selection. The cosmic window creates the optimal conditions, but conscious participation and deliberate practice are required to stabilize quantum jumping abilities permanently. Think of this evolutionary period like a cosmic university where advanced consciousness capabilities are temporarily available for learning. Those who recognize the opportunity and engage with dedicated practice will graduate with permanent quantum jumping abilities. Those who treat it as just an interesting phenomenon without serious engagement will return to normal three-dimensional limitations when the window closes. The signs you've been experiencing aren't just random occurrences, they're specific indicators that your consciousness is ready for advanced quantum jumping training. Your nervous system has been upgrading itself to handle higher dimensional frequencies. Your electromagnetic field has been expanding to encompass multiple probability fields simultaneously. Your brain waves have been synchronizing with cosmic consciousness evolution frequencies. Every strange experience you've had recently has been preparing you for this moment. The time distortions were training your consciousness to operate outside linear time constraints. The synchronicities were demonstrating the direct correlation between observation and manifestation. The electromagnetic sensitivity was calibrating your nervous system to perceive quantum field fluctuations. The vivid dreams were introducing you to alternate reality navigation. Now, the preparation phase is complete and the advanced training begins. What I'm about to share with you is the specific quantum jumping protocol that allows you to consciously select. The foundation of conscious quantum jumping is understanding that you're not changing your life, you're changing which life you're observing. Every possible version of your existence already occurs simultaneously in parallel dimensions. The version where you're financially abundant exists right now. The version where your relationships are deeply fulfilling exists right now. The version where your health is optimal exists right now. The version where your creative expression flows effortlessly exists right now. Your current experience is simply the result of which dimensional frequency your consciousness is tuned into, exactly like tuning a radio to receive different stations. When you change your consciousness frequency through specific electromagnetic protocols, you literally tune into different reality channels where alternate versions of your life are broadcasting continuously. The quantum jumping protocol I use involves 3 distinct phases that must be executed in precise sequence for successful reality migration. Phase 1 is electromagnetic coherence establishment, where you align your heart rhythm, brain waves, and nervous system frequency with the target reality's electromagnetic signature. Phase 2 is dimensional frequency adjustment, where you gradually shift your consciousness from current reality frequency to desired reality frequency through specific visualization and breathing techniques. Phase 3 is Quantum Entanglement Activation, where you merge your awareness with the alternate reality version of yourself until complete integration occurs. Phase 1 begins by identifying the electromagnetic signature of your desired reality through what advanced quantum jumpers call reality mapping. You sit in complete stillness and allow your consciousness to scan across multiple probability fields until you locate the dimensional frequency where your desired life already exists. This scanning process feels like tuning through radio stations until you find clear reception, except you're tuning through reality channels until you find the life you want to experience. When you locate your target reality, you'll feel a distinct electromagnetic resonance in your body, typically as warmth in your chest, tingling in your hands, or pressure between your eyebrows. This physical sensation is confirmation that your consciousness has made contact with the alternate dimensional version of yourself. The stronger and clearer this resonance becomes, the more accessible that reality timeline becomes for conscious migration. Phase 2 involves gradually shifting your consciousness frequency to match your target reality's electromagnetic signature exactly. This is accomplished through synchronized breathing, focused intention, and electromagnetic field expansion. You begin by breathing in the electromagnetic pattern of your desired reality while simultaneously releasing attachment to your current reality limitations. In the comments below, drop a word that represents the old habit you're ready to break in order to quantum jump into your new reality. Maybe it's fear, maybe it's lack, maybe it's doubt. Whatever it is, call it out, not for me, but for you. Because naming the limitation is the first step in dissolving it from your electromagnetic field. The visualization component of phase 2 requires experiencing your desired reality with complete sensory detail while maintaining awareness that you're not creating something new, you're recognizing something that already exists. You see through the eyes of the version of yourself living that reality. Feel the emotions of that version. Experience the physical sensations of that version until the distinction between current self and alternate self begins to dissolve. Phase 3 is the most advanced aspect of quantum jumping and requires complete trust in the process rather than trying to control outcomes through willpower. Quantum entanglement activation happens when your consciousness frequency becomes so perfectly aligned with your target reality that the boundaries between realities collapse and integration occurs naturally. During successful quantum entanglement, you'll experience what feels like a moment of complete dissolution, where you temporarily lose awareness of physical boundaries and merge completely with quantum possibility space. This dissolution phase typically lasts only a few seconds in linear time, but can feel like hours or days from the perspective of consciousness. When you emerge from quantum entanglement, you'll notice immediate shifts in your electromagnetic field, your emotional state, your mental clarity, and your physical energy levels. The foundation of conscious quantum jumping is understanding that you're not changing your life, you're changing which life you're observing. Every possible version of your existence already occurs simultaneously in parallel dimensions. The version where you're financially abundant exists right now. The version where your relationships are deeply fulfilling exists right now. The version where your health is optimal exists right now. The version where your creative expression flows effortlessly exists right now. Your current experience is simply the result of which dimensional frequency your consciousness is tuned into, exactly like tuning a radio to receive different stations. When you change your consciousness frequency through specific electromagnetic protocols, you literally tune into different reality channels where alternate versions of your life are broadcasting continuously. The quantum jumping protocol I use involves 3 distinct phases that must be executed in precise sequence for successful reality migration. Phase 1 is electromagnetic coherence establishment, where you align your heart rhythm, brain waves, and nervous system frequency with the target reality's electromagnetic signature. Phase 2 is dimensional frequency adjustment, where you gradually shift your consciousness from current reality frequency to desired reality frequency through specific visualization and breathing techniques. Phase 3 is quantum entanglement activation, where you merge your awareness with the alternate reality version of yourself until complete integration occurs. Phase 1 begins by identifying the electromagnetic signature of your desired reality through what advanced quantum jumpers call reality mapping. You sit in complete stillness and allow your consciousness to scan across multiple probability fields until you locate the dimensional frequency where your desired life already exists. This scanning process feels like tuning through radio stations until you find clear reception, except you're tuning through reality channels until you find the life you want to experience. When you locate your target reality, you'll feel a distinct electromagnetic resonance in your body, typically as warmth in your chest, tingling in your hands, or pressure between your eyebrows. This physical sensation is confirmation that your consciousness has made contact with the alternate dimensional version of yourself. The stronger and clearer this resonance becomes, the more accessible that reality timeline becomes for conscious migration. Phase 2 involves gradually shifting your consciousness frequency to match your target reality's electromagnetic signature exactly. This is accomplished through synchronized breathing, focused intention, and electromagnetic field expansion. You begin by breathing in the electromagnetic pattern of your desired reality while simultaneously releasing attachment to your current reality limitations. In the comments below, drop a word that represents the old habit you're ready to break in order to quantum jump into your new reality. Maybe it's fear, maybe it's lack, maybe it's doubt. Whatever it is, call it out, not for me, but for you. Because naming the limitation is the first step in dissolving it from your electromagnetic field. The visualization component of phase 2 requires experiencing your desired reality with complete sensory detail while maintaining awareness that you're not creating something new, you're recognizing something that already exists. You see through the eyes of the version of yourself living that reality. Feel the emotions of that version. Experience the physical sensations of that version until the distinction between current self and alternate self begins to dissolve. Phase 3 is the most advanced aspect of quantum jumping and requires complete trust in the process rather than trying to control outcomes through willpower. Quantum entanglement activation happens when your consciousness frequency becomes so perfectly aligned with your target reality that the boundaries between realities collapse and integration occurs naturally. During successful quantum entanglement, you'll experience what feels like a moment of complete dissolution, where you temporarily lose awareness of physical boundaries and merge completely with quantum possibility space. This dissolution phase typically lasts only a few seconds in linear time, but can feel like hours or days from the perspective of consciousness. When you emerge from quantum entanglement, you'll notice immediate shifts in your electromagnetic field, your emotional state, your mental clarity, and your physical energy levels. The foundation of conscious quantum jumping is understanding that you're not changing your life, you're changing which life you're observing. Every possible version of your existence already occurs simultaneously in parallel dimensions. The version where you're financially abundant exists right now. The version where your relationships are deeply fulfilling exists right now. The version where your health is optimal exists right now. The version where your creative expression flows effortlessly exists right now. Your current experience is simply the result of which dimensional frequency your consciousness is tuned into, exactly like tuning a radio to receive different stations. When you change your consciousness frequency through specific electromagnetic protocols, you literally tune into different reality channels where alternate versions of your life are broadcasting continuously. The quantum jumping protocol I use involves 3 distinct phases that must be executed in precise sequence for successful reality migration. Phase 1 is electromagnetic coherence establishment, where you align your heart rhythm, brain waves, and nervous system frequency with the target reality's electromagnetic signature. Phase 2 is dimensional frequency adjustment, where you gradually shift your consciousness from current reality frequency to desired reality frequency through specific visualization and breathing techniques. Phase 3 is quantum entanglement activation, where you merge your awareness with the alternate reality version of yourself until complete integration occurs. Phase 1 begins by identifying the electromagnetic signature of your desired reality through what advanced quantum jumpers call reality mapping. You sit in complete stillness and allow your consciousness to scan across multiple probability fields until you locate the dimensional frequency where your desired life already exists. This scanning process feels like tuning through radio stations until you find clear reception, except you're tuning through reality channels until you find the life you want to experience. When you locate your target reality, you'll feel a distinct electromagnetic resonance in your body, typically as warmth in your chest, tingling in your hands, or pressure between your eyebrows. This physical sensation is confirmation that your consciousness has made contact with the alternate dimensional version of yourself. The stronger and clearer this resonance becomes, the more accessible that reality timeline becomes for conscious migration. Phase 2 involves gradually shifting your consciousness frequency to match your target reality's electromagnetic signature exactly. This is accomplished through synchronized breathing, focused intention, and electromagnetic field expansion. You begin by breathing in the electromagnetic pattern of your desired reality while simultaneously releasing attachment to your current reality limitations. In the comments below, drop a word that represents the old habit you're ready to break in order to quantum jump into your new reality. Maybe it's fear, maybe it's lack, maybe it's doubt. Whatever it is, call it out, not for me, but for you. Because naming the limitation is the first step in dissolving it from your electromagnetic field. The visualization component of Phase 2 requires experiencing your desired reality with complete sensory detail while maintaining awareness that you're not creating something new, you're recognizing something that already exists. You see through the eyes of the version of yourself living that reality. Feel the emotions of that version. experience the physical sensations of that version until the distinction between current self and alternate self begins to dissolve. Phase 3 is the most advanced aspect of quantum jumping and requires complete trust in the process rather than trying to control outcomes through willpower. Quantum entanglement activation happens when your consciousness frequency becomes so perfectly aligned with your target reality that the boundaries between realities collapse and integration occurs naturally. During successful quantum entanglement, you'll experience what feels like a moment of complete dissolution, where you temporarily lose awareness of physical boundaries and merge completely with quantum possibility space. This dissolution phase typically lasts only a few seconds in linear time, but can feel like hours or days from the perspective of consciousness. When you emerge from quantum entanglement, you'll notice immediate shifts in your electromagnetic field, your emotional state, your mental clarity, and your physical energy levels. Time expansion occurs when you align your consciousness frequency with timeless awareness, allowing you to accomplish what normally takes hours in what appears to be minutes. Time compression occurs when you align with accelerated manifestation frequencies, allowing intentions to manifest much faster than normal cause and effect timelines would suggest. Your electronics behaving strangely around you isn't equipment malfunction. It's evidence that your electromagnetic field is expanding beyond normal human frequency ranges. As your quantum jumping abilities develop, your influence on electromagnetic devices will become more pronounced and more controllable. Advanced quantum jumpers eventually learn to consciously influence electronic devices, not through psychokinesis, but through electromagnetic field coherence that optimizes electronic function rather than disrupting it. Your expanding electromagnetic field will eventually enhance rather than interfere with technology around you. The animals responding to you differently are recognizing the quantum field shift in your electromagnetic signature. Animals perceive consciousness frequencies directly without the mental filtering that humans typically use. They can sense that you're operating from expanded consciousness capabilities and are naturally drawn to coherent electromagnetic fields. As your quantum jumping abilities stabilize, you'll find that animals seek your presence more frequently and behave more harmoniously around you. This happens because coherent consciousness naturally promotes coherence in all living systems within its electromagnetic range. The synchronicities increasing in your life aren't coincidences. They're direct evidence that your consciousness is creating stronger correlation between intention and manifestation through quantum field coherence. The more coherent your electromagnetic state becomes, the more precisely the quantum field responds to your conscious intentions. Advanced quantum jumpers experience synchronicities not as surprising coincidences, but as normal function of consciousness operating from quantum coherence. When you're fully aligned with quantum principles, synchronicity becomes so consistent that you begin to expect reality to organize itself around your conscious intentions. If this blew up your mind, hit subscribe and bell icon next to it. Join the movement, become part of a global space where we explore the art of conscious creation, quantum alignment, and embodied manifestation. The gap between intention and manifestation collapsing in your experience is evidence that you're approaching mastery of conscious reality creation. Most people experience significant delays between setting intentions and seeing results because their consciousness frequency is unstable and their electromagnetic field contains interference patterns that disrupt quantum field response. As your quantum jumping abilities develop, the gap between intention and manifestation will continue decreasing until intentions manifest almost instantaneously. This acceleration happens because your consciousness becomes so coherent that the quantum field has no choice but to respond immediately to your focused attention. The cosmic timing aspect of your quantum jumping activation isn't coincidental. You're part of a carefully selected group of consciousness that incarnated specifically to participate in humanity's first collective quantum leap. Not everyone currently alive has the electromagnetic capacity to handle quantum consciousness expansion without losing coherence. Your soul specifically chose to incarnate during this consciousness evolution period because you have prior experience with quantum jumping abilities from previous lifetimes or other dimensional experiences. The recognition you feel when learning about quantum jumping isn't new learning, it's remembering capabilities you've always possessed but temporarily forgot through incarnation in three-dimensional reality. The isolation period you experienced was necessary to develop electromagnetic coherence without interference from collective consciousness chaos. Most humans are unconsciously broadcasting electromagnetic static that disrupts quantum field coherence. You needed to develop stable quantum consciousness away from this interference before you could operate successfully in collective environments. The depression or emotional challenges you experienced weren't personal psychological issues. They were consciousness attempting to operate from quantum principles while still identified with three-dimensional limitations. This creates internal electromagnetic conflict that manifests as emotional disturbance until the consciousness expansion process completes. Many advanced souls experience what appears to be mental health challenges during consciousness evolution periods because their electromagnetic systems are upgrading to handle quantum frequencies. What mainstream psychology calls mental illness is often consciousness attempting to operate beyond normal human limitations without proper understanding of the expansion process. Your nervous system has been completely rewired to handle quantum jumping frequencies without losing physical coherence. This rewiring process often creates temporary symptoms like fatigue, electromagnetic sensitivity, sleep disturbances, and emotional intensity while the upgrade completes. The relationship changes you experienced weren't personal failures, they were electromagnetic incompatibility as your frequency elevated beyond the range of people operating from three-dimensional consciousness. Quantum consciousness naturally attracts coherent frequencies and naturally repels chaotic frequencies through electromagnetic resonance principles. As your quantum jumping abilities stabilize, you'll find that new relationships form with people operating from similar consciousness levels, while relationships based on three-dimensional compatibility naturally dissolve. This isn't judgment of others, it's simply electromagnetic physics in action. The financial pressures you experienced were designed to dissolve attachment to three-dimensional security systems and develop trust in quantum field intelligence for resource provision. Quantum consciousness doesn't create abundance through struggle and effort, it creates abundance through frequency alignment with abundance timelines. Your quantum jump key is not just activated, it's reaching peak operational power right now as we approach the optimal window for consciousness evolution. The electromagnetic conditions are more favorable for quantum jumping than they've been for thousands of years and more favorable than they'll be again for thousands of years. The choice to consciously engage with quantum jumping or let this opportunity pass while you hesitate is the most important decision you'll make in this lifetime. This isn't just about improving your personal circumstances, it's about participating in the evolution of human consciousness itself. Your successful quantum jump contributes to the collective field that makes quantum jumping possible for humanity as a whole. Every person who masters conscious reality selection creates a template in the morphic field that others can access and follow. Your breakthrough becomes humanity's breakthrough, but advanced quantum jumping techniques can only be shared with those who demonstrate serious commitment to consciousness evolution rather than casual curiosity about interesting concepts. The people who engage deeply with this information will receive progressively more advanced protocols for reality migration and consciousness expansion. Comment quantum below if you're ready to receive advanced quantum jumping training. That single word creates an electromagnetic declaration to the field that you're committed to conscious evolution rather than remaining in three-dimensional limitation. Your declaration influences the probability fields around you and signals your readiness for advanced information. In my next transmission, I am revealing the master-level quantum jumping protocol that allows you to access any timeline that exists in quantum possibility space. I am sharing the specific electromagnetic techniques that advanced quantum jumpers use to migrate between realities at will without losing coherence or fragmenting identity. More importantly, I am explaining what happens when you achieve complete mastery of quantum jumping. When you realize you can access any version of your life that exists in quantum possibility space, when you understand that every limitation you've experienced was voluntary and can be discontinued immediately through consciousness frequency adjustment. The advanced protocols include techniques for quantum time travel, where you can send your consciousness into future timelines to gather information and return with detailed knowledge of how to manifest those realities in your current experience. You'll learn dimensional mapping, where you can perceive the entire network of possible futures branching from any decision point and consciously navigate between them. But these master level techniques will only be transmitted to those who prove their readiness through consistent engagement and electromagnetic declaration of serious commitment to quantum consciousness evolution. The universe doesn't accidentally give advanced information to consciousness that isn't prepared to handle the implications responsibly. Here's what most people don't realize about quantum jumping mastery. The information finds you when you're ready to apply it, not when you're curious about it. If you found this transmission, if these concepts activate recognition in your cellular memory, if you feel quantum possibilities opening in your awareness, then you're ready for practical application of advanced consciousness technologies. But readiness means more than intellectual understanding.